Alright guys, what's up? Today I'm finally going to start getting this aquarium going. It's been a while. It's been sitting here. It's been something I've been thinking about constantly. I've started acquiring some materials to get this thing started. The first thing I'm going to do is the background. I think this will probably be the first step, just because once I put it in place and start putting some weight in there, I'm not going to be able to really get access to that. So I really want to go ahead and get that started. So I thought about different backgrounds. I didn't want one of those cheesy fake plant type things. I didn't want to just look at the wall behind the aquarium. I wanted to do something a little different. One of the things I saw a lot with aquascapers and stuff were these nice frosted backgrounds, kind of a white frosted thing. They add some lights behind it, that kind of thing. So what I decided was something similar, and this is a window film basically that I'm going to put on the aquarium today. But I went with a dark color because I thought the plants would pop a little more. Maybe the colors of the fish would stand out depending on what I get. I want this to be a pretty cool, heavily planted, community tank with a lot of small fish. That's what I really want, a lot of small color, some shrimp and all this stuff going on. So similar to what I'm doing with the small edge, just on a much bigger scale. So this will be my second tank in the house. Today we're going to go ahead and start with the background. I'm going to give you some information about that, show you what I'm going to do to get it on there. I've never done this before, so it's a learning experience for me as well. Hopefully it'll help you guys. You can see any mistakes I make, or if it just goes smoothly. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over the product a little bit. It's something I purchased looking around. I don't know if it's going to work out really well or not, so this will be kind of a review for a product as well. Alright guys, so the product we are going to use is this Rabbitgoo window film. I ordered it on Amazon, mostly just because I could not think of a small local store to really go get something like this. All I have access to that would carry this type of product would be Lowe's or Home Depot. In my mind, really no different than Amazon. I try to use local stores as much as possible, support small business, local fish stores, but really nothing there is an option. And like I said, I didn't want any of the tacky backgrounds. That's all I really saw at the local fish store. So I ordered it, it came in, I got like a 36 inch by 78 inch roll. Larger than I need, however the other size was lower. Instead of getting the white, I got a dark gray, so hopefully that's going to look cool. It just came in this box here, shipped directly to the door. Small little box that's rolled up inside. One thing that's really cool is the instructions are printed inside the package, so it's going to be right there. Also, on the top of the box here, might be hard to see, but it says open it there and you can scan for video instructions. So you scan this little QR code and it will provide, I'm assuming, a how-to video. Hopefully, watching the video, reading the instructions, I have everything I need. If not, I might need to improvise or maybe pick up a couple of supplies. But we'll see. I'm really anxious to get this going today, so I'll probably improvise if I don't have everything. Alright, so the first step is to clean the back of the glass really well. I'm just going to use some really simple cleaner, glass cleaner. It's, I think, mostly vinegar and water, something my wife orders online, and some clean paper towels. I don't want to drench it too much, but I know the goal is to get some of the oils and dirt and dust and grime off the back, so I'm just going to spray a little bit on here. Not too much, clean the side a little while I'm at it. And just wipe it down really good. I'm going to let it evaporate to dry, I think. Alright, so step 2 is to go ahead and measure the glass where the film's going to be. So that way I know about what size to cut the film. So this should be about, I'll probably cut it to 31 and a half inches because you're going to trim off the excess later. And back glass that's going to be covered is about 18 inches. I'll probably do 19 inches, so I have some extra there. So I'll do 19 by, it's a little more than 30, so 31. I think that'd be good. So 19 by 31 is what I'm going to play with there. I think that gives me enough extra to have room to work with comfortably. Alright, so I pulled the roll out of the box and it just looks like a roll of, I don't know, maybe window tinting for a car or something, just this dark roll. I'm gonna just unroll it a little bit, and what I'm worried about is that it's been in the box and rolled up so long that it may not cooperate well. So what I'm probably gonna do is roll out about 24 inches of it or so. It's 36 inches long, so I don't really have to measure much except for the amount that I'm taking out of here. And I have a lot more than I need, so I could always do other aquariums if I need to, or something else. I'll use it for some sort of project, I'm sure. But I'm going to roll out about 24 inches and probably put some books or something on it so that it'll kind of be stretched out and ready to go. I'm not sure. Once I roll it out, it might not even need that, so we'll see here in a moment. Yeah, and like I thought, it's kind of, I don't know, it might actually work okay. I don't think there'll be a huge problem with this. So you can kind of see the color here, how dark it is, but it still lets some stuff through. So if I were to get some lights or something on the back, it'll probably work. I still might leave it rolled out and flat here for a little while and put some weight on it before I move on, just because I really want to make sure that you can see kind of the ripples from where it's been rolled up. I really don't want to have a lot of that to fight with during the installation. I'm not real sure if it will. It might come out easily with the squeegee or credit card, whatever I decide to use there to get the air bubbles and stuff out. But I'm still going to go ahead and put some things on it to try to eliminate that a little. So I'll let it sit for a little bit, maybe an hour or two, and see what happens and go from there. Alright, so I'm hoping that it's just not too big to mess with, but after looking at the directions and stuff, I mixed up a spray bottle with a little bit of soapy water. Not too much soap, I don't know how much I really need. And then I got just a roll of tape here. It said just to use like painter's tape, but I'm assuming this will work. And you apply a little piece of tape to each side on the corner to help you pull it apart. So you're going to spray down the glass with the soapy water, then spray down the side that was protected with some soapy water as well, and then apply it and kind of start squeegeeing out the bubbles and stuff. And after you get the bubbles squeegeed out, then you can, according to what I watched and read, then you can start trimming everything. And I have a small little cheap X-Acto knife that I had laying around, or not X-Acto knife, but like a little razor knife thing that seems pretty sharp, but it's one of these guys, just real cheap to the point. The main thing I gotta watch out for, I think, is when I'm trimming, just not cutting any of the sealant or anything like that. So I got the piece of tape. This one actually came with a piece on the outside already, so I'm thinking that can be used to help pull this stuff apart, but we will see. And go ahead and apply this here, and this is going to be a part that I trim off, so it should help. Yeah, so maybe not. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's starting to peel into two separate sheets. So this top corner I'm not going to actually let apply to the aquarium itself. So I'm going to go ahead and spray down the glass and get. So I tried playing with some of the angles here. I'm not sure really what's going to be best for you guys to see what's going on. I'm just going to do my best since this is a one camera shoot, and hopefully you guys can get the gist here. So I am going to go ahead and spray down the glass and then peel apart the film and spray that down, and then go ahead and start with the application. Hopefully this goes well. Luckily I have a lot more of this roll if it doesn't, and I can learn from the mistakes that I am making. So I sprayed it down, I think, pretty liberally. I don't want to overdo it, I don't think. I made sure to put a towel down on the ground here, just to make sure that I didn't get a lot of soapy water all over the floor. Don't think my wife would be too happy when she got home if that happened. So this would not necessarily be very fun if you were doing a really large window, because this stuff is just kind of a mess. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of drape it over the back of the aquarium here. Well, no, I don't want to. Well, I don't think it'll matter if the backside gets wet a little bit. I'm just going to kind of hold this in place. I'm trying not to touch it too much because I know the oils from my hands will not help. Water just repels right off of this, so it's not going to stay real wet, but make sure this is a little more of a mist. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start trying to apply this the best I can. I'm not worried about it getting perfectly straight to start because you know, the edges are going to be trimmed off anyway. I'm trying my best not to touch it a whole lot either. This stuff does really cling, which I guess that's the point. Alright, so it's starting to adhere. So what I'm going to do now is I have my handy dandy Costco membership card that I'm going to try to get all the bubbles and stuff out of. It says also to spray the back. That's probably going to help the card slide a little better. And this is what I'm going to use to, you know, try to squeegee it, I guess. And it's pretty easy for me to see the bubbles. I'm not sure if for you it's going to be all that easy. Okay, so this is going to have to go down. But I'm not sure with the lighting if you're going to be able to see this all that well. So I have some scissors that are pretty sharp that I'm going to use to trim off a lot of the weight on one side, just to kind of stop it from wanting to pull off. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut some of that weight off pretty quickly here. And I probably should have trimmed it with less excess to begin with. Alright, so I'm not really worried about the edges being perfect. I don't think it's going to be noticed. The one thing I really got to make sure though is I'm not messing up any of the sealant where the glass is attached. Which luckily is not along the back. I also don't want to scratch the back, but I think it's going to be fairly forgiving where these two pieces of glass meet. The side glass meets the back glass here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think there's sealant really along this, and if it's not perfect along this bottom frame, I'm not too worried either because more than likely substrate's going to cover that anyway in the back. So if it's a little high or not perfectly straight, I'm not really stressing it too much. I think it's going to look awesome either way. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and trim this one side the best I can. Hopefully I can keep it straight. It would probably be best if I had some sort of straight edge, but I couldn't really find anything looking around. So I'm just going to do it kind of eyeball it and be careful. And it cuts pretty easy with a razor knife actually, so that's not bad at all. And that just peels right off. So that was actually pretty simple. I think it's going to look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and trim up the other two sides and go ahead and squeegee it out just a little bit more. Make sure I got the rest of the air bubbles. Remove that advertising signage on the inside, turn it around, and we'll see how it looks. Hopefully, it turns out as good as I think. Alright, so I think it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and clean up all my trash and stuff, wipe it down, let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn it around and see how it looks. Pretty sure it's going to look alright. It's darker than a lot of the cleans that a lot of people use. I like the fact that it's something that I can peel off if I don't like it, if I don't want to use it, and I want to go with something else. I might just plan on doing a plain white background, plain black background, blue, whatever, I don't know, some sort of paint. Either way, this is temporary. It was relatively cheap. I think the roll cost me about $20. The materials were things I had laying around. Of course, I improvised a little bit, but I think it's going to work out. We'll see the result here in just a moment, and we'll go from there. Alright, so not the best lighting in here. I'm getting a lot of glare, which is unfortunate, but hopefully you guys can kind of get the gist of it here. I'm going to kind of move it around, get a little closer and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully try to cut back on a little bit of this glare, but if you can kind of see there, I think it looks decent. I think it looks pretty good. I couldn't see any air bubbles. Once again, sorry about the glare, guys. I really don't know what to do about that, but you know, you can see the dark background there. There's the side. So I'm not sure. Maybe eventually I'll do the sides as well. I don't know, because this side gets a lot of ambient light from the window. But hopefully here soon I'll figure out some lighting stuff so you guys can get some better shots. So here it is with the hood light on and all the other lights in the house off. You're still getting a little bit of glare from the windows and stuff, but sorry, the tank's still dirty. Hasn't been cleaned out thoroughly, but you can see it's just a slightly darker frosted background. I think it's going to be kind of nice. And like I said, I might actually even do the sides at one point just to kind of create like this box effect that they're in. So you're really just seeing through the front. I'm going to put my hand behind over here so you can kind of see my hand through it. It's not insanely dark or anything, but I think it's going to add a cool effect if I were to add like a strip of LEDs behind it or something along those lines. So anyway, hope this helps. Hopefully once it's all cleaned up, ready to go, substrate in, some plants in, some hardscape, all that kind of stuff, it's really going to add a cool effect to the back. So I'll keep you guys updated in the next video. If you guys have any advice or suggestions, let me know. And I'll see you guys with the next one. Thanks a lot.